Hi,
Introduce yourself.
my name is Shani Vardy. I am a real estate agent here at Method Real Estate Advisors. I've been licensed since 2019 and selling the dream ever since. I am married. I have a little girl. We live here in Marietta, and I'm excited to chat.
Love it. Love everything about it. What brought you to Atlanta?
Whew, that is a pretty loaded question, so I'm going to have to try and give you an unloaded answer. Um, so I was living in New York for the past 7 years before I got here. I got married in New York. We had our daughter in New York. And after we had her, I decided that it was life was really tough over there to have it. For some people it works, but for us, it was just really tough. And we decided to make the move here. I do have a bit of a past here. I have family here. My grandparents, when they were alive, used to live here, so I used to come here every summer, and so it wasn't an unfamiliar place to us. And we just kind of came here and said, "Let's just do it." If we came here on a whim,
I love it.
and honestly, it was tough, but it was the best decision we ever made.
I love it. I don't think you can answer any better than that.
Yeah. I mean,
Meant to be.
it was meant to be.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
What made you get into real estate? Or what was like that first thought about getting into real estate? Not like when you were like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna get my license. What was like
Yeah.
before that?
So my background is jewelry, high-end wholesale jewelry. I've been doing that 10 years prior to getting into real estate. And it was great. It was gratifying. I put in a lot of hours. I would say it was a 9 to 5 job, but it actually was more of an 8 to 8 job. And so coming here, obviously I had left, the company and all of that in New York, and coming here for the first time, I was unemployed. So, which was really strange for me. I had a baby at the time. So, I did the whole mommy baby thing and all of that. And when she was about 8 months, it was 8 months of me not working pretty much. I always wanted to get into real estate. It's always been something that I wanted to do, even when I was living in New York. But I just had a great job at the time. There was no reason for me to get up and leave and go into the world of real estate over there. So being here, I thought this would be a great opportunity. And I really needed to work for income reasons. I mean, I needed to get a job one way or another. And I thought to myself, here's my chance. If I get a regular job, I can't really go into real estate. I knew it was going to be a full time job. Like, I wasn't about to do it as a part time thing. And I was like, I'm going to do it. I went to do the whole license. I mean, I was a mom. I did the night classes, the weekend classes. And financially, we didn't have a lot of money at the time, and to fail and do it again, you have to pay to do all of that. And I just didn't give myself an out. I was like, you have to pass. You have to get this done, and passed all the exams right away, and got into real estate right away. And I just I I'm the type of person, I know when I have my eyes set on something and I have this gut feeling, like that's it. There's nothing that can get in my way.
Love it.
So
No, absolutely. That's really good answer as well. Uh, Something I was gonna touch on is when you, and I think you'll have this feeling as well, when you first start in real estate and you start making money, you start becoming successful, and you pick up a $9,000 check. There's really kind of like nothing like that. There's no feeling except, I mean, winning the lottery, I guess. But
yeah.
we've picked up some big checks in our day. And you mentioned it's at some time, at one point, like a lot of us, we didn't have as much as we had. So,
Yeah.
what did that feel like when first got that big, one of the big checks?
So money to me has always been a weird thing. Growing up, I have a background where my parents are both working 2 to 3 jobs, each of them. So I always had a weird relationship with money. I never saw money as something that was um, everything in life. I don't know how to
Mm-hmm.
explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I came from an upbringing where it was really love and it wasn't money based. I don't know how to explain
Mm-hmm.
it. So getting that big check was awesome because it was just really a sense of financial freedom. I'm a natural supporter, so I've always been supporting myself and I never ever rely on anyone to support me. So that in itself was the best feeling. Honestly, I put most of it away. I didn't really do anything for I didn't go on like a shopping spree. I kind of was like, that's awesome. I worked hard, that
Mm-hmm.
I made the money from that transaction. We're going to put that aside and keep on moving forward. So
Right.
it's when I go into a transaction, it's not like I know I'm going to get paid at the end of it, but it's not on my mind during the whole transaction. It's
Right.
I know that it's going to come. So for me, it's different. I know I should celebrate more when I do get that paycheck, but I kind of like have a humble sort of upbringing where I just put it away and I continue my life. I don't start upgrading and buying new this and a new that. It's there, and I know that it's there. And that to me, that stability is what
Right.
keeps me afloat.
Wish I was more like
Yeah, well, you know.
you. I was actually going to ask, and you really actually answered it. But I ask everyone this: do you celebrate your wins?
I do. It's hard for me to do that. I spoil my daughter. So that is really, I pour into her. And of course, the family. I go for a nice dinner.
Yeah,
We go
that's
for a dinner,
celebrating.
and it's weird because I don't for real estate, I'm celebrating the win for the clients that I'm
Right.
helping. So it's hard again to celebrate myself. I know I worked really hard, but I work hard in every transaction. Like I don't think it needs a celebration, like doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
But yeah, nice dinner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
I think we probably celebrate the ones that are hard, the really
yeah,
difficult transactions, and maybe not even celebrate. I think celebrating yourself takes on a lot of different forms. It can be, hey, I'm going to celebrate myself and I'm going to go lock myself in this room for 4 hours.
yeah,
Or, taking a day for yourself, or maybe buying yourself something that like you really wanted. Maybe it does benefit your business. Like a lot of
yeah,
times when I have a really big sale or something that was maybe unexpected and just kind of wasn't in the pipeline, I'll get like a camera or something that benefits
yeah.
what I do, which is still exciting because I love what I do,
No, of
and it's more,
course.
I like gadgets and toys
Yeah.
and all that fun stuff, and yeah, that stuff adds up
I
as
mean, I
well.
celebrate myself every day. It's not like, well, when there's a win, I celebrate. I get up in the morning, I do what I love to do every day. I have a family, I have a roof over my head. I am living my life and
Right.
like I did this all by myself. Like
Mm-hmm.
I where I am today, I got here.
Right.
Every day is I celebrate myself. So when I close on a home, it's not I get, yes, the hard transactions. You want to celebrate you got through it. But what's strange is that after a very difficult transaction, I almost forget the road that we just traveled on. It's like, okay, it's,
Selective
I,
amnesia.
yeah, like it doesn't affect me. The,
Mm-hmm.
the hardships don't affect me. I just naturally, the way that I'm wired, I just get through them. And
Mm-hmm.
once we get through them, it's in the
Yep.
past. It's done.
Yep.
Like
And you've got the experience that you can pull from
Oh
But
my gosh, the
yeah.
experience is everything. And, I always say when you think that something's not working out for you,
Mhm.
whatever it is in life, it's not working out, it actually is working out. It's just not working out the way that you wanted it to work out, but it's working out in another type of form. And maybe it's not going to have the solution that you wanted to have,
Right.
but it's the solution that was meant to happen. And you just got to evolve and work your
Hmm.
way and go with the changes. Life's all about changes. If you can't go with the flow and go with the changes, you're going to get stuck and you're going to fall.
Absolutely. And that's ever so prevalent in our business right now, where you're having to adjust and modify the way you operate like yearly, every
Yeah.
rolling 6 months, where changing our scripts, changing how to, do everything essentially. What are we dealing with? Is it a seller's market? Is it a buyer's market? Is it a mix of both? Is it situational, which that's what it's become, is situational, which is probably even more difficult. Um, I would say, what why would buyers choose you over some random person they met on Zillow?
So, I can't really speak for all of them, but just I'll tell you what I like to give out that is received. So, when I meet with someone a stranger, we meet, they have no idea who I am. I try to find something where we can connect. There's a common denominator. And once I find that, I we can connect on that. We need to connect on something. There has to be a connection there. Once a connection is there, then the spark is there and we
Mm-hmm.
can, grow from that. Why do people want to work with me? Because I care. I care. I want to see this through. I want the best for them. Um, it is to help someone find a home is everything to me. And I think that they feel that I'm not in it. Like, again, I said this earlier. Of course, we have to get paid, we have to support our families and all that, but I'm not in it for the
Right.
money. I'm in it to
Right.
help families. And that is what I say. I literally verbally say it. I'm like, I'm here to help you. My goal is for you to refer me out. And if I don't do a good job, then what is the
Right.
point of all of this? I'm not here just to close a transaction and be done with it.
Exactly.
It continues. And I think that's what it is, that you actually care
Mm-hmm.
for someone's well-being and their family.
Absolutely. There's a big difference between really caring and pretending to care. And you can typically sniff it out pretty easily.
I'm an open book. Like, I think everyone knows that about me. I try my best to have a filter, but it's not really there. You either love me or you hate me or whatever. You have your feelings, but I'm not going to change because of that.
Right.
And I think some people, when they meet me, they perhaps are a little bit intimidated because they don't know what they're getting. But once we start talking, they're like, okay, like,
Mm-hmm.
there's no BS with me.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to you whether you like it or not. And then once I give you the news, we're going to work through it. And I'm a problem solver
Right.
by nature. I'm a problem solver. Not that I love complicated situations, but when they come my way, it just makes me better at what I do. And the client knows that they're in good hands. They just want to feel safe and know that they're in trusted hands, that
Right.
when there is a problem, someone's there to take care of it. That is really what a real estate agent is there to do, is handle all this shit that goes on through the transaction so the client can have somewhat of a smooth ride and get to the closing table without being completely traumatized. We're traumatized. But
It's a daily traumatic roller coaster,
yeah.
emotional roller coaster. Um, I love how you just put. There's a lot of talk right now about our value. What is our value? What are we bringing to the table? Most people who have purchased homes and sold homes understand the value. I would say the overwhelming majority.
Yeah.
Um, typically it's the quiet majority that are like, yeah. There's others that are like, oh, what's that for, and all that. I always tell the story about how I love negotiating with those like online brokers or the transactional brokers,
Yeah.
because typically you're dealing directly with an owner, and I love utilizing the contract.
Yeah.
Not that I'm being tricky or deceptive, but contracts, I mean, there's a reason we study them. There's a reason we have continuing education. There's
Yeah.
a reason we have, mandatory license law every 2 years. That's extremely important.
Yeah.
So, how do we make sure that, well, I think that you make sure that you're continuously showing your value. And and I don't say that you're doing this like intentionally. I think this is just you.
Yeah.
You make people feel good and wanted, and that they matter, and they say the same thing to their friends. And what I'm getting at is the way that you care will directly affect your referrals in the future, in the way that you build your business, because you're more than just doing transactions
A
and selling
hundred
real estate.
percent. I mean, that is my goal when I'm helping. I mean, it's not like I'm helping you so that you can refer me, but what is the point of helping you doing like a really slack job, doing the least, and then that's it. You sold a house, like I sold a house, I made my commission, and then I'm never going to hear from that client again. That's not. There's some agents that are into that. I'm not into that. I love the relationship. I love the connection, and I want, this is so cliche, but I want to be your forever real estate agent slash your friend, and just someone that you can call all the
Mm-hmm.
time. I mean, I have people that call me that I've sold to. They don't call me about real estate. They're like, hi, and they'll like ask me about an issue that is completely unrelated because they trust me. They know that I don't know any one of their friends, so that I'm
Mm-hmm.
like an outside type of person
Right.
to come to, and I'm totally fine with that. I love to help people. It's not just real estate. I always say, call me.
Mm-hmm.
Call me if you have an issue. Call me.
You are what people call a trusted advisor.
Yeah.
I think people feel that and know that you're going to come at them. And even people who don't like hearing the truth, sometimes
Yeah, and but
they
the
need
way
to.
that I give it, say it's bad news or whatever, there's an issue that I have to deliver. I always deliver the issue with options of solutions. So I'm not just gonna
Right.
give you the problem and say, well, this is the issue. We're screwed.
Right. Yeah.
So there's always going to be like, it's kind of like the sandwich effect. You start off with something nice, you lay in the bad news or whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is, and then you end off with the solutions. And this is what I think that
Right.
we should do, and to give them hope. So bad news is scary to people when they don't have anything after that. It's like they're at a cliff and it's like, now what? Don't worry, there's something for you to hold on
Right.
to, like you're going to be fine. And I think that's really important as a real estate agent because there's always an issue. I mean, there's always something. So you
Always.
got to be comfortable to deliver the news, and then be creative and find solutions to help your clients to get to the closing table. If you're not creative and you can't think of solutions, I mean, you're just going to be stuck and the deal is going to fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes with all parties because you're dealing with the agent and all of, as long as there's open communication and there's
Right.
trust. I think with that, and that goes with marriage and friendships, that's what keeps it. It's the glue that holds it together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same with real estate.
Yep.
um and that's literally my values.
That's how I kind of feel working with buyers. It's like a business friendship, and you're just like on this wild ride, and you're like texting at all hours, and like you're emotionally feeling what they're feeling, because you're, I think, any good salesperson or person in general,
Yeah,
you're gonna feel that energy,
for sure.
you're gonna feed off of it. But they start elevating,
Yeah,
and you reel them back in.
you got to diffuse. I mean, I think I would say real estate. I've always been an emotionally stable type of person where, I can control whatever, whatever it is.
Not me.
But real estate though has really like, there's a time and a place for, so I do
Mhm.
feel the feels of the client, but while we're in the transaction, I have to be the solid voice and not get emotional with them.
Right.
Like, I remember I sold a house and like, I don't want to go into details, but at the end of, it was quite an emotional journey and I had to keep it together because, we
Mm-hmm.
got to keep on going. And on the day of closing, we actually did the walkthrough that morning, and the child walked into the bedroom and who never had a bedroom, and that that's it, the tears came
Yeah.
down and I thought it was appropriate. We got through it, we're going to be closing. I thought it would be okay,
Yeah.
and she was shocked to see me crying because she's like, you look like the type of person that doesn't cry.
Cry quietly in your
Yeah,
shower
the
when no one can
shower
see. Yeah,
cries. I call them the
exactly.
shower cries. And, there's a time and a place. So I think that's another thing, is that you have to be really emotionally stable in this business.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not just tears, that's anger, not losing it, and treating everyone respectfully, even when you don't want to do
Right.
that. And
We talk a
just
lot about that.
keeping it together and controlling yourself. You have to have self discipline and control yourself.
Right.
And that's also with the gym, that comes, everyone, like, I don't go to the gym to get a good body. Like, that's not my goal. I go to the gym to obviously exercise my body, be healthy, especially I have a medical history, so it's just taking care of myself physically, but really it's my mind and
Mm-hmm.
pushing myself. When I'm pushing those weights and it's really hard, it's my mind that I'm training. I know that sounds weird, but it's the brain that I'm training to push where it's so hard to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important. You have to keep working, and I strive every day to be an even better person and an even better real estate agent than I am today. Like, I don't think that I'm the best. I think that there's still a journey that I'm traveling on.
I love it. I think you prepare these answers.
It's like I said, I'm an open book, so you can ask me anything and I'm gonna answer it.
No, this is perfect. For the newer agents out there who are still trying to find their voice, maybe find their
Yeah.
voice with the sellers that they're representing and not letting them walk all over them, with the buyers of wanting to ask for all this stuff and it's not realistic. What advice can you give? And were you like that initially, or did that come with time? I know a lot of people struggle with that.
Um, it was a journey from when I first started to where I got here. I have to say, I'm really grateful because I've been through very difficult times in my life. So how I am today is really, it's because of the life that I've had. The foundation that I
Mm-hmm.
have is very different to others. So it's very hard for me to give advice to a new agent because everything I know and everything I do is the learning experience that I've come from. But what I can say is, take things from your life and your past and don't forget what happened. We all have hard things that have
Mm-hmm.
happened to us, and we tend to not think about it and keep it in the past. And okay, it happened and I don't want to think about it.
Right.
I honestly say, dive into those things and remember those things and remember that you survived those things. And then in retrospect, when you get into a difficult situation, you're sitting with the owner in their house and you're having this difficult listing appointment, think back on something really hard that you went through and know that you got through it, and you can get through this. You can get through this. Just talk to them and don't be scared. And I think that's the thing, because this kind of peels, it keeps peeling, it goes into fear. We start to get scared. We start to doubt ourselves. What if I say something and that person doesn't want to hire me or whatever it is? Then that's fine. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's not, if that person doesn't want to use you as their agent, it's okay. Your life is not going to end on that couch. It it's their loss. That's all that I
Mm-hmm.
can really say. And but I really think that if you are a solid person and you keep on overcoming and not, I always say, fall into the black hole.
Right.
There's this black hole that we fall into and we just keep on going, just keep on rising above these things, and you're going to get that
Mm-hmm.
listing because people will hire you if they trust you and they know that they're sitting with a solid person. If they feel like they're sitting with someone who's unstable in some manner, they're going to
Yep.
feel it and they're not going to move forward. That's it,
Hands down. Yes.
you know?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, that was definitely more of a loaded answer.
It
Um,
it's a great answer because a lot of agents come in new and they don't have confidence and they're like, how am I going to pretend like I'm not new? You don't have to pretend. They're going to know you're new. It's, are you straightforward with them? Are you put together? Do you sound like a psycho? I mean, that's what they're looking for. They want to
yeah,
make sure that they're being taken care of. If you can handhold them, you can learn.
yeah.
And also it's kind of controlling the dialogue of, hey, I've got a support system behind me, anything like that. And
Yeah, I mean, the office is great. That definitely is what got me through in the beginning. Still today. But back, when I first started, I never, honestly, when I started, I had such a drive. I was so hungry to do this that I never doubted myself because
mm-hmm.
this was the only option for me. This was
Yep.
it. I had to do this. I had to support my family. I needed to also, even though, I laugh because real estate is a full-time job, and a part of me, going back to that question, did get into it because of the flexibility. And although it is really 24 hours, there is a little bit of flexibility there. I'm there to pick up my daughter, and there's like things that I can
Right.
move around. But just getting into it, I had to make it work. This was it. When I met buyers, I was working with buyers in the first year. I think I had two listings the first year. So it was the buyers, and I just went in there to help them. It wasn't about me. Like, stop thinking. Here's my advice for new agents: stop thinking about yourself. Think about the client. Because
Mm-hmm.
when you think about yourself, you start to like question yourself and all of that. It's just do your job.
Mm-hmm.
Just do your job.
Yep.
You know,
Care about them. Put
care.
put yourself in their shoes and how you would feel. And if you're able to relate to their feelings,
Yeah.
they'll know that you're thinking about them.
And, I have to say this story. I'm sitting with you. So, the first deal that I ever had, I'm going to make this super short. I was sitting with the buyers in the kitchen of the house that they wanted to put a contract on. Okay. So we're sitting there and they're asking me about closing costs. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know what to say. This is my very first deal.
Like, what are closing costs?
And I remember texting you. Okay, I'm like literally with my phone and I'm texting you, and I'm like, I told them, they were sitting across from me, that I'm just, I got the calculator open and I'm just kind of going to work the numbers.
Love it.
And I was texting you and you were kind of helping me work through the numbers. And they thought I was on my calculator the whole time. So, it's also life experience. You also, you got to take things from your past and implement them into today.
Mm-hmm.
Can't run away from all of that.
Right. No, that makes total sense. Um, it's easy. It's easy to give up on yourself and give up on clients uh, when things get hard. Um, there's a lot of bridges that get burnt in this industry, especially because we deal with family sometimes and friends and all that
Yeah.
stuff. I would say, what's in that regard, have you had like a bad experience like that with either it's family or close friends, anything like that?
Um,
We want to hear the
so,
dirt.
no, I haven't had any bad experience with any family or close friends. I just honestly, I keep it professional. No matter what my thoughts are on the situation, I keep them to myself, and I don't let it get to me. I don't burn bridges, because burning bridges is a choice that you make. Someone has to actually burn the bridge.
Yeah.
So even if it's coming from the other party, you can save that bridge from burning. I don't like to have relationships go down the drain. We don't need to be best friends or buddy buddy, but I definitely don't like to end things on a bad note. I've had one situation in all these years where it was definitely a burnt bridge, from the client. I did everything I could, but I mean, just to be quite frank, she lost trust in me for whatever reason it was, and I took that really hard. I think it took me like probably a year to get over that. And I know I say I don't hold on to things, but that was one thing, because I am my honesty and my integrity is everything to me. My reputation is more important than anything. And for someone to question that, I think that was very hard for me. But it was a lesson,
Right.
and you take it. And these these stresses that we deal with in life, I feel like the more you carry, the more you can carry in the future. Meaning, like, when you go to the gym, you first start going to the gym, you're pushing 10 pounds. As you get stronger, the muscles are getting stronger, you can push 20, 30, going, going, going. So the more stress that you have on your shoulders kind of makes you stronger for more stress and more stress and more stress. And so everything that comes my way, it's just training. It's part of it. It's all in your mind. You have to train your mind. So the agents that do get discouraged, you have to train yourself to brush it off and keep on moving forward. I don't know how, I say it all the time, and I stress, I stress on it a lot.
You're better than me because I get very emotional during transactions. I think I'm just an emotional person.
And that's okay.
I get really emotional, and I don't
Yeah.
let it show like with the clients and all that.
No, of
But
course.
at home, I'll say something, and Leanna's like, she's like, "Shut up! Like, what are you?" She's like, "It's busy. Like, get the deal done,
Yeah.
and go on to the next one." And I'm like,
Yeah. It's really hard, but again, I, for me, it's just so different because I've been through cancer. I mean, before that, I struggled to have a baby. I went through, there's so many hard things that I went through. And like I said, the more stress you have that you carry in life, the easier it gets. And I think I'm at that point. I was like lifting 150 pounds at one point, and now when something comes, I'm like, okay, we can deal with this. Like, I think being told you have cancer was probably the biggest thing for me. So anything less than that is totally manageable. So it's hard for me to give that over to someone else who, please God, should never experience that. And what's crazy is that I'm so thankful that I went through the whole cancer thing. And I'm thankful that I struggled to have a child. Like, all these hardships, I'm so grateful, because I wouldn't be where I am today. So that's the thing. You got to turn the hardships into your wins, and you can be a warrior from everything that you've gone through. I mean,
you're a warrior.
Thank you. Always in the battlefield.
Anyone who raises kids full time and sells real estate full time and is a top producer.
Yeah. And it's not easy. I mean, I'm human, so I do feel the feels. I should maybe feel them more, like something will happen and I won't cry when I should cry. And, so there's like an issue in that in itself. But, I also I'm working on myself. I'm not perfect, like I can polish one part of me where the other side also needs to get polished. I mean, it's a work in progress.
If you understand that you can always improve and be better and create better service, all the times in my life when I've ever tripped up, it's when I thought I could do it on my own and I don't need anybody else. And specifically, I talk about having the team behind us, whether you want them or not, they're there. and also thinking that I knew everything. Like I already knew it. I didn't need to hear about it. It all comes down to communication anyway, but um, was there a time in your real estate journey that you were either like humbled by someone, maybe their reaction to you being so firm and businesslike, or even their reaction to you being firm and them seeing it from the outside looking in with you negotiate? I know it's kind of like a gray area question, but
I mean, everything I do with the negotiations, I talk to the client first. I never negotiate on behalf of the client without the client knowing what I'm doing. I'm
right,
not. And I'm a talk through type of person. I've called you multiple times, not really to ask a question, but just to talk something
mm-hmm,
through. And I think that's really important. That if you're going through something, maybe you're not looking for the like specific answers, but by talking through something with someone, you will get the answers that you kind of indirectly were looking
right,
for. So that's what I do with the transaction. So I talk to the clients and we talk and we talk. And based on that conversation, I'll kind of know exactly what I need to do with the conversation with the other agent.
right,
Um, as far as the humility part, I mean, I'm a humble person. I think the clients can feel that about me. I'm never one to be, I'm just grateful to be doing everything that I'm doing. That's, it's again, my whole path to where I am today. If I think humility is extremely important
right.
for me. That is, I think the clients know and they're appreciative of what I do. I mean, they're not like praising me every step of the way, which is fine. But, when we get to the closing table, I definitely get feedback of, thank you so much. We could not have been
Mm-hmm,
here without you. Thank you for everything that you do and for being a solid voice for us because you are their voice.
right,
And that comes back to being very respectful and not letting your emotions get in the way because you are representing someone else and you do want to represent them in their best light. And if you're losing your shit, then it kind of looks bad. Maybe the clients behind her are people that are just like kind of unstable and this whole the minute someone feels unstable in a in a
oh yeah,
transaction, that's again, it's going to fall apart. So, you have to, I always remind myself that I am representing someone. Don't get heated, keep cool, and
you'll be able to figure
and
it
and
out.
and just keep a sound voice. I've had agents that shouted at me. They didn't like what I was saying. They were raising a voice at me, and I let them finish. And then I'm like, okay, we good? Like, you feel good? Like, you let it all out? Great. Now can we have like a normal conversation now? So,
They'll probably
it's
also
kind of
find
like a
this.
therapist. I'm like, okay, let it all out. And then we can have like a decent conversation. So,
We're absolutely therapists.
yeah.
Um, Agree or disagree? You see someone's true colors when they are selling their home.
Yes.
And they're typically not very nice
I know. I
colors.
agree. I agree. I agree. However, I don't judge because it is a very stressful situation. They are showing their true colors in regards to them being stressful about something. Um, and actually, honestly, I take it as a compliment because when they are showing their true colors, they feel comfortable to show me their true
Right.
colors. They're not holding back. And I always tell my clients, I'm like, don't hold back. If you feel a certain way, just you gotta let it, you gotta let me know. So it's not pleasant to see someone's on a negative true colors, but it goes with it. And again, it's just it's part of the
Right.
transaction, and they're entitled to feel, and you're there to kind of let them feel validated,
Right.
and just kind of do the therapist aspect of things.
A lot of times they do
Yeah.
they do realize that they are being extra or whatever, and will say something, or they just won't say anything because they're
Yeah, I mean, as
embarrassed.
long as someone's not being directly like rude to me and like going below the belt, I can manage it. But the minute someone is like being rude and all of that, then I will raise my voice. No one's, I'm very composed, but the minute you hit, and the line for me is really far. So you have to go really
Right.
far to get me to that point. So yes, I will open up my mouth. And once I do, it's over. I mean,
Okay.
but I try very hard not to go there.
Right.
And
No.
because,
It makes sense.
yeah.
It makes total sense. Um, I would say I have a couple of really good ones, and I'll see what I want to end with.
Okay.
We got two more. What is okay? What is the most uncomfortable situation you have come across in either you're going on a listing presentation or you're showing a home or a final walkthrough? Can be funny, can be weird, can be whatever.
Oh my gosh, uncomfortable.
Shocking, uncomfortable, anything like that.
I'm the worst person to ask because I'm like so cool with uncomfortable situations that like to other people that's so uncomfortable, but to me I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I guess this is what we're dealing with today. It's I have to think about that. I mean, I could say one little thing is that my flip flop over the summer broke, so I had to show a house barefoot.
I like that.
I couldn't.
That's a good one.
Yeah, when you break a flip flop, there's no maneuver. Like it's just not working. So I was like, okay, well, I guess we're showing the house barefoot
Yeah.
today. And luckily, the house was clean, and I was able to be barefoot. But as far as uncomfortable situations, no, I mean everyone I've met has been really respectful. I've never been uncomfortable with someone. I have a good vibe of people. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'll meet someone and I'll know right away if I'm going to be going to the basement or not to
Right.
show them that basement. Like I'll know right away.
Yeah.
So I kind of read the room, and so I never get to that point where there is discomfort, if
Right.
that makes sense.
No, for sure.
But I really can't think of anything on the top of my head that would make me say like I was really uncomfortable.
And I specifically asked that because a lot of new agents or agents are
Yeah.
very interested because it is something real that we deal with every single time we go and meet people.
Yeah, I mean, as far as safety precautions, I always park on the street. I never really park in the driveway unless I know the person. When I get into the house, most of the homes here that I show, most of them have a front door and a back door. So when I open up the door, I immediately go straight to the back door, open up the back door. So we've got two doors that are open.
That's great advice.
I mean, I don't carry like weapons. I mean, I just, again, like you have to read the room. And I know some people can look very normal and all of that, and maybe they're not. So have I been in situations where something could potentially have happened? Probably, yeah, but they didn't. And, thank God, as of late, my business has been a lot of referral business. So it's been clients that come from someone that I know. When I first started doing this, it was, leads and really meeting with complete strangers. So, and yeah, thank God I've never had a situation that was, a bad situation.
I think you're savvy enough on the phone as well. Like you would never even get
you
to
just
the
have
point.
to, yeah, you gotta like trust your gut. And I wear high heels, so if anyone messed with me, they'll
Yes. Yeah. Trust your gut.
And honestly, sure. I think I also I have a presence where I'll walk into a room and I'm hoping whoever's on the other side knows maybe I'm not one to mess with, because I do have a lot of anger held in.
Mm-hmm.
And, it will take the wrong person to let that all out,
Respect it. So, I hear it. I hear it.
Yeah. Well, not that I have anger, but you know what I mean.
We've all got a lot of anger.
Yeah, it takes one thing to set me off, so I think I portray that.
Oh, yeah. All right. Have you ever... People love these questions, so I looked up like the funny funniest realtor questions.
Okay.
Have you ever walked into a house and someone was inside unexpected? They weren't expecting you.
Yeah. Gosh, I've showed so many houses. It's hard to think of like situations. But I definitely have walked into houses where there were people there, but it was all appropriate. No one was not like anyone was coming out of a shower or anything. And yeah, I just walk in and I'm like, hi. And they're like, hi. And I'm like, hey. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I like, again, I'm so good with uncomfortable. Like I'll walk into someone's home, they'll be sitting on the couch and I'll just like go sit on the couch with them and be like, I'm so sorry. Like,
Yeah. You're good.
like, do you mind going to the, stepping out into the backyard? We're going to show your house. I'm sorry that your agent didn't tell you that we were coming. So, you diffuse. I mean, there's been awkward situations for sure, but nothing that I can really think of walking in and someone's there. But yeah, nothing that was like inappropriate, put it that way.
That's what they want to hear.
Yeah, they want to hear like the juicy stories. No, sorry guys, nothing juicy here.
What's the most interesting thing you've seen in a home? And it could be like a historical artifact, or like maybe an autograph of someone, or like a story, because we get to know people really well.
Yeah. Gosh, Carrie, these are really tough questions that you're asking me, because you're asking me to like think back on all the houses that I've seen that have stood out.